Hi, everybody. Welcome to another movie discussion with me, Joe Mayo, along with Tom Hunyadi and Tim Allen. And
TNT.
we're going to try a routine of doing this early. We used to do this at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to try to do it earlier, like around this time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't think it'll work for everybody, but we'll get a feel how it's going. All right. So, what's up, guys? Busy with movies or what?
Hey, well, I think we've seen some movies. Watched a couple movies here and there. It was a
Oh, yeah.
pretty good week.
Yeah.
Mm, Yeah,
I've watched movies. I'm still in that silly war box I've been in forever. I've got three left. But I did take a
Yeah.
break from
okay.
it today. So I have one movie to talk about that's not a war movie.
Yeah. And my Halloween Mayothon isn't really going. I mean, I knew it wasn't. I wasn't going to watch one a day. Today's the 10th, and I watched three. So there's not so much else to do. There
Mm,
just is. All right. So hello, James Farley and Mike Wall Jasper. Hello, and Beetle Eddie. And we
mm,
have the problem with this is, if you can call it a problem, we have things to talk about. But if we don't have a good crowd yet, why start it? But then I don't know what we can
right.
talk about in the meantime, because all the stuff we want to talk about in the meantime is maybe stuff that we're going to talk about
Uh,
later. So okay,
yeah.
let's start with hello, Josh. Peeping Tom, I heard that mentioned a few. I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't remember it, so I
Yeah.
couldn't have loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got it. I might have it right here. If you
Oh
want to
man,
talk for a minute, if you want to talk for a minute,
talk
you
amongst
know.
yourselves. You got
Uh,
everything. He's always got
yeah.
everything handy.
I saw it a long time ago. I saw it on Bravo, believe it or not, that long ago when Bravo used to
Right.
actually show whole films uninterrupted without commercials. That's when
Right.
I saw it on Bravo.
Right. So
Oh, there we go.
here's the
See, see.
recent this yeah, this is the recent release of Peeping Tom that came out earlier this year. So Criterion did release this on DVD way back, as it was Spine number 58. So this was like a real early DVD release from Criterion, and they finally got around to upgrading it. So and I watched it earlier this year as well, and looks fantastic. So yeah,
Yeah,
Peeping Tom is good.
good
It's
for
good,
you. I like it.
pretty
Well,
pretty good.
as far as hello, George, music for all four seasons.
Oh, George.
Okay, and as
Hope
far
you're
as Angel
safe.
Heart, is
I
that the
think
one
George
that's got
lives in
that?
Florida.
Oh,
Yeah.
what was he? What? He's in Florida. What'd you
I
say?
think George is in Florida, so
I'm sorry, I
I
didn't.
hope
I don't
he's
remember
safe.
who's. I just found out that somehow my mother. Well, she went away to some friends in Boca Raton, and then she returned to where she
Mm.
lives, and they said there's no damage at all to the house, which is amazing, I think.
Oh,
Good.
wow.
But
Good. So
anyway,
I do love Angel Heart, but I love Angel Heart with Robert De Niro.
yeah.
Even though Mickey Rourke is in it. No, I'm just teasing. Mickey Rourke is the star of Angel Heart. It's a really good murder mystery, little supernatural involved. But I've always enjoyed Angel Heart. There was the controversial because of Lisa Bonet,
So you
who
did it.
was
Damn you! Go ahead.
what? No, you talk about it if you want to.
No, no, there's nothing to say.
All
Because
right.
it's like I had a plan here. I had a plan.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what my plan was. I was gonna
Right.
like start talking about. I was gonna go. Oh, isn't this the movie with the girl from the Cosby Show in it? I couldn't think of it. I was gonna do it before you had a chance. That's all I knew about it,
Right.
right? But I
Yeah.
accidentally,
Yeah.
no offense, George, but I accidentally put this one up first, which gave you a time to recover. And like you were looking, you were putting something away, and you're putting people Tom
Yeah.
away. So I was like, by the time I got to the question, it was all right, you know. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I know
Yeah.
about it. But Tom has probably seen it, like he says. So
I've seen it, yeah, over a dozen times. I really
must
enjoy Angel Heart.
must be good.
Yeah.
Uh, Peeping Tom, this is thought it was pretty great. Probably influenced a lot for the genre.
Yeah.
Hello, John.
Joe Joan.
All right, I have something to talk about. Okay, I found out that there's a store that I forget what it's called. Book something. Book. I mean, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not young anymore. It was Book Something, and I don't think the title's so good, but it's a place where they sell used books, used Blu-rays, DVDs, laser discs, vinyl records, all kinds of used stuff. A big center store, and you can trade things in, sell things if you want. So I went in there browsing around, and I found some things, and I'm going to show you what I got there because everything I got here was used and therefore cheap. Now, I've already done a review of this. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I found The Human Centipede there, which is really a freaky, sick, depraved movie. And I did. If you like sick, depraved movies, watch my video on that. And I still am amazed by it, But anyway, can't believe it. But anyhow, all right. So I got that. Then, as long as I was there, I didn't have this, and these are like I think $2.99 or something. Smokey and the Bandit, So I figured, I like that movie. So okay, Smokey and the Bandit. Let's pick that up. But now, here's what I really liked about it. There are a couple of movies that I've been dying to get a hold of, and I can never find them. Or if they're online, they're from like Amazon or something. They're from another country with I don't have a region-free player. Or in this case of this one, I'm gonna blow it up a bit. I should be doing that. Heartbreakers. I don't know. It was hard to get a hold of this online, so I found it used for $1.99. Okay. I already watched it, and it's not very good. I remember seeing clips of this on TV, and I thought it was good. You got Sigourney Weaver, and you also got Jennifer Love Hewitt, mother and daughter. They con rich men like Gene Hackman here to take his money and everything. And there were some sexy scenes with them. I saw it on TV. I thought, this is funny also because Gene Hackman plays a tycoon that is, he's a chain smoker, chronic chain smoker. And he coughs through the whole movie. Like he's disgusting. Like she doesn't want to kiss him. Sigourney Weaver's got to try to con him. But there's a great scene, my favorite scene in the movie. Let me just fix this. Where it's a little thing where he's dying, I think, and she tries to give him mouth to mouth, and she gets up, and cigarette smoke comes out of her mouth. I thought it was a funny comedy, but watch it. It's too long. It's 2 hours. It feels like 2 hours and 3 minutes. It feels like it, and it loses its steam. But anyway, so that was I tried it, and I don't think I'll be hanging on to it. Let's put it that way. And the last thing, this is one I wanted for a long time. It's a movie that I really like, and it's the movie where I got my line that I often use. Now, what's on your so-called mind? And it's this movie here. It's a double feature. I got two out of it. It's DVD again. It's Stakeout. Richard Dreyfuss and Emilio Estevez, and the gorgeous Madeline Stowe, by the way. It has the inferior sequel, in my opinion, another Stakeout.
Yes, with the not so gorgeous. With the not so gorgeous.
And I watched. Those are two movies I watched. I watched another Stakeout. Hard to believe. The movie it's from 1987. Can't believe it's that old. 20, I can't do the math. 37 years, almost 40 years old. How is that possible? I went to the theater like it was a year ago. And I think a Stakeout I would really definitely recommend because it's got them. It's like a buddy movie. It's a comedy, but it's also like drama too and that kind of thing. And it's a good idea. They got to stake out Madeline Stowe's house from across the street. And of course, Richard Dreyfuss winds up like getting involved with her somehow. And it's also got Forrest Whitaker in here, who's, got a supporting role. It's pretty good. Directed by, I can never say the name, John Badham. Anyway, so that's what I got, and I watched some other things too, but most of what I've watched, I've put up. So a couple of things that I haven't. So let me move on to some comments here before we continue there. Okay.
Friendly, by the way.
No, that's not Brennan. That's Peter Noon.
Now I'm going to talk loud here. I'm going to go some in the back here a minute. I told this to Tom, but I don't think I told it yet to Tim. If you can still hear me, let's see if I find it quick enough. he may know what I'm talking about. I have a pile of movies that I bought a year ago, horror related, and there was one that I didn't realize that I had, and I don't know if I could find it in time. But you guys can find something to talk about until I find it. I found it. All right. So there's a lot of talk right now about Joker 2, and we'll talk about that a bit. If we didn't already, I forget. And a lot of people don't like it, but some do. And then we're rooting around. I found this.
Yeah, there you go.
So I had no idea I even had this damn thing, the first one, which I've not seen, but I'll get to it. And I was asking Tom, does this qualify as a horror for October? Guess it does.
I mean, yeah, it's very horrific in scenes. There's some pretty bloody scenes in there. Plus he dresses up. So you got that aspect of Halloween as well. So yeah, it's. But yeah, regarding the second one though, I mean, I did see it last week or whatever it was, and I was a bit disappointed. However, I did find some things interesting about it. But again, I don't want to give any spoilers because I don't know who's seen it and who hasn't, and if anybody wants to see it. So, but if you have seen it, I mean, but if you saw the first one and if you liked the first one, you should see the second one. Joe, you're muted, Joe.
And judge for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
People should always judge for themselves. They should never listen to the mass of haters that the internet has become and just listen to themselves.
It sure has. It sure has.
And yeah,
Hi, Starman.
That's either the fake Peter Noon or the real Star. I don't know. It's tough whenever you see Starman.
Yes, I did. I used to go there. It was really cool back in the day in the village, Greenwich Village. And I don't know if I bought from there. I mean, they had a lot of really unusual stuff, but I don't know if I ever actually picked anything up there. I must have. But I was in there. A lot of time I was in the village, I'd always stop by there. And I saw all those kinds of things. What do you think of this, Tom? The new Joker reminds him of the Cuckoo's Nest kind of vibe?
I didn't feel that really. But I mean, if it's interesting. You brought it up. If I watch it again, I'll try to, take that under consideration. But
I will talk about a little bit now about seeing Daytime Revolution, which is a Beatles related thing. And over on my Mean Mr. Mayo channel, I get these mixed up sometimes. I did a review video and I enjoyed doing it. Let's just say I went to a theater last night. It was what would have been John Lennon's 84th birthday, and I really enjoyed it immensely. I thought the director did a great job on it. I'm going to save this for a future talk show. Eric Nelson. And what can I say? They did the Mike Douglas show, John and Yoko, in February of 1972. They did it for 5 days. There was some really controversial people on there, like Bobby Seale of the Black Panthers, and I want to say Jerry Rubin and Ralph Nader. And I'm not going to go into every detail because you can look at the other channel and see the whole thing. But the bottom line is, I just thought it was edited so well. Like they kept the pace going, where you'd have like maybe John do a song, then you'd have another guest maybe talking about macrobiotic food, which might not be that interesting for a while, but then you get John talking about the Beatles, and then they do a song. Yoko does a song. John does a song. Chuck Berry comes on, does a song with John.
Right.
It was. I just liked the balance. It was a nice mix, and it made it go easy.
They showed that whole performance of Chuck Berry.
Yeah, they show the whole Memphis, not the whole thing, but in Memphis, Tennessee, they show the whole song, and it's great watching it on a big screen. It really, I thought this is a TV show. What the heck, But I like seeing it on a big screen. And they have the bit in there before people know about where Yoko starts to squeal or whatever into the microphone. And they left that in. And I was thinking, these days they could probably erase it. just the audio of it, right? Cleanly, and still have the other two. Maybe
Right.
I don't know if they could how they would do that. Maybe they could, but they left it in there, and it's funny. I just found in the context of the whole thing, it didn't really bother me. I never liked that she did that. I defend Yoko a lot, but I don't like that she went in there in the middle of that performance and did that. But anyway, it was good. And then after that, originally they did Johnny Be Good, but Johnny Be Good is not in the movie. They didn't use that.
Okay.
But they got other good songs. John doing Imagine in there, Yoko doing Sisters Oh Sisters, which is nice, and Midsummer New York. So it's enjoyable. So I really give it a thumbs up, a Mayo thumbs
Excellent.
up, or a thumbs in the mayonnaise.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it, and I think it comes out on November 23rd on Blu-ray.
It's a ways
So
away.
unfortunately, still got a month and a half to go. But I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. It didn't show here, and plus it was on the same day as yesterday, and I went to go see ELO last night.
Right, ELO. You were at the ELO.
Yeah, and had a great time.
Well, it's at that independent art theater that I go to. It wasn't in a regular mainstream theater. But
Right.
I'm glad I did. And Steve Matteo was there, by the way. I ran into him too. Might be putting you on the spot, but any of you have any Halloween movie recommendations that might be a bit more obscure or less common?
I'm going to talk about one when I talk about what I've seen, but I don't know if you'll be able to find it. But
yeah, I'll recommend one that just came out earlier this year, and that's Late Night with the Devil. Not a lot of people went to go see it when it was in theaters, but I think it's excellent. It'll probably make my top 10 list of the year. I really, really enjoyed it. So if you haven't seen Late Night with the Devil, check it out.
I know mine is, I've always mentioned a movie that I grew up with by the name of Horror Hotel. That was a U.S. name. It was an English film, and it was originally entitled City of the Dead. It's about witches still around, and that kind of stuff. It's 1960, the same time as Psycho, and it's in black and white like Psycho, but then there's a lot of atmosphere and horror to it. I really like that. I don't know if you're familiar with it, Josh, but otherwise I'm hard pressed to come up with something perfect for the occasion. So
well, I mean, yeah. Some people are calling it a cop out. I thought it was interesting. It just brings the movie into a whole different perspective. The ending. So again, you got to see it, and I'm not going to tell you not to see it. If you want to see it, go see it. But and you make your own judgment.
I'm having to guess what that might be, just based on how you described it, but what happens. But
right.
Let's go here. Blair Witch Project for the first time. I was disappointed. Thought we might actually see some kind of witch. Yeah, was that the first of the found footage movies, or one of them where they find the video or something?
Well, of the recent batch, I mean, obviously, what the Cannibal Holocaust is probably the original, godfather of that, wouldn't you say? Or
yeah, but that started the trend of
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. What was I hearing? Again, the memory. Let's go. What? Oh boy, I think Luck of the Irish. They did Luck of the Irish acoustic, together, and that wasn't in the movie, but I hear it's going to be a bonus on there. And I think Johnny Be Good. Was that one? Oh geez, or was that still not on it? Oh geez,
I mean, I can look it up real quick here.
Yeah, I'm trying to trust my memory though. I heard something. I know it was one of them was Luck of the Irish.
See if they got it listed here on Amazon real quick.
I thought I was disappointed that Johnny Be Good wasn't on that either. For bonus.
Yeah.
Hi, Tanner. Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you liked it. And you're welcome for that. Hello, Harold. We'll get into. So far, only North America is getting the Blu-ray and DVD.
Yeah, that's too bad. Well, yeah.
Don't remind me because that movie and I Was a Teenage Frankenstein. Those are owned by Susan Hart, who's really hoarding the films that she owns. I can't remember never if it's Arkoff and Nicholson, and I forget Sam Arkoff. I don't know which wife she is of whom, but she'd rather do nothing with them than let people have them and stuff. And she used to say that she was waiting for ridiculous astronomical sum of money for these things, which she's never going to get. So, luckily there are bootleggers out there.
Right.
Okay, talking about ELO a little here.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Danny Harrison was the opening act for that tour, and he came out and they did Handled Care during that show. Unfortunately, I was living in Arizona at the time, and those two tours, he didn't go to Arizona. So guess what? I moved from Arizona, and guess where he goes? He goes to Arizona.
Sure.
But no, we saw him downtown Detroit, and it was a fantastic show. Glad I went.
Right.
I watched Late Night with the Devil last night. Really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Very cool.
But it's also called, don't forget, Josh, it's also called City of the Dead. It's 1960. Christopher Lee is in it. House Corridor is a blood movie. I love it, but, it's not for everybody. It's 1958. It's not as bloody. It's not a bloody movie, by the way. Don't think it's bloody. It's black and white. It's 1958. That's the title, but it's not a bloody movie. It's about Boris Karloff when he's older now and it's by the 50s, probably 70. I think he's 70 in it, and he played a doctor in the olden times before anesthesia was developed, and he develops something like to do surgery painless like that, and then he gets blackmailed, and that's the idea of it. But it has something of horror in it. Christopher Lee is also in it. It's one of his early movies that he got to star with Boris Karloff. It's a good movie, but it's not what the title would make you think. What's this? The 2022 indie comedy, is that a real thing?
I have not heard about that.
You have?
No, I haven't.
Haven't? All right.
I like the title though.
So there you go.
There you go.
All right. So now let's take the time now to go, you guys, and what you've seen. Tom, you talked about a little. Anything else?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll show what I picked up because we were talking about this. It just came out this week. I got it Tuesday, and that's
Oh,
I Walked with the Zombie and the Seventh Victim. Now you should know if you watch Joe's morning show, you know that it's disrespectful to do movies about zombies and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah, but those kind of zombies are all right.
Right.
The one
I'm going to have a veal parm sandwich while I watch that. That'll be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but love you, Danny. But yeah, I watched Walk with a Zombie earlier today. It was okay. And then I'll watch the Seventh Victim later tonight. The great thing about these is I Walked with a Zombie is only 69 minutes. Seventh Victim is 71 minutes. So
I'm
to the
curious.
point.
What you think of the other one?
Yeah, both of them have commentaries on it, which are great. There's a really cool Val Lewton documentary on here as well. So it's a packed Blu-ray set. So it's only one Blu-ray. You got both movies on one Blu-ray. Both have commentaries, and there's some really good bonus features on here. So
yeah, I'm all mixed. I gotta get that before I can't get it.
Yeah. So
is it officially out or not?
Yeah, it came out Tuesday. Yeah.
Jeez,
it came out Tuesday. Yeah. And then
wow.
I saw two movies this week. I just got out of seeing the movie Saturday Night today. Those that don't know, this is the 90 minutes that lead up to the very first episode of Saturday Night Live, and it's a very quick pace. It keeps moving. So I liked that. But yeah, there was a lot of chaos involved in those 90 minutes leading up to the original live broadcast. And I definitely recommend it. Check it out if you're a fan of any era of Saturday Night Live. I think you'll enjoy this as a kind of like a behind the scenes type look, because that's exactly what it is. It's all the behind the scenes aspect of the 90 minutes leading up to the original airing of the first episode. So that was great, and that officially opens tomorrow. And then earlier this week, I saw a movie called Lee, which is about her name was Lee Miller. She was a female model in the 1920s and became a professional photographer for Vogue magazine in the UK. And she took a lot of horrific photos during World War II. So it's a bio. It's a movie of her life. And there's actually a famous photo of her in Hitler's bathtub, which is kind of freaky and morbid in a way. But yeah, they were at the end of the war. Her and her partner, they found themselves inside Hitler's apartment where he lived, and she just decided to take a picture of herself in his bathtub. But the story leading up to that is really fascinating. She was an amazing woman, and I liked how they told her story. So that's Lee, starring Kate Winslet, Academy Award-winning actress Kate Winslet, and she's fantastic in it. So if you're into that kind of thing, if you like World War II films, or if you just like biopics on historic people, I definitely recommend you checking that one out as well. So 2 good movies this week I got to see at the theater. So happy about that. Better than last week.
You got it made.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well,
Yeah. Well, they did two first before, I think.
they've done a couple. They've got there's a Western twofer, which I'm forgetting the names, and then they did when they released that box set with all the movies from that studio, including The Last Picture Show, The King of Marvin Gardens. I'm forgetting the name of that box set, but there was 2 movies that Jack Nicholson did, and I think they put 2 of those movies on one disc as well. So yeah, it is kind of rare that you see that they do 2 movies on one disc.
Well, the one with Freaks had the unknown on with it, wasn't it?
Oh, it was in a box set, and they were all on
Freaks?
separate. They were all on separate Blu-rays. Yeah.
Oh, but I'm thinking to myself, there's no way. I mean, I'm not. There's not a box set that contains Freaks in it, right? It has.
Yeah,
It's like
Criterion. Yeah, the Criterion box set that has Freaks in it, but it also
I'm not
has
getting a
two.
box set. What the hell? I thought
Yeah.
there were just 2 movies. I thought it was just Freaks and on its own with.
No, there was 3 movies if I remember correctly.
Oh, I hope not. I'm not buying a box.
Yeah.
I'll stick with my DVD. If that's the case.
Mm.
By the way, a good thing I saw this comments. I could remember to tell you that store
Yeah.
that I went to, the used store. They do have Criterions in a special spot. That's a genre. They got everything
Yeah,
else,
because they're special. That's right.
Yeah, nah, they not anymore. Well, they seem special. Well, I guess expense wise.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I don't think they're any more than a couple of the other boutique labels, really. As far as I know, they're not.
Buy any movies from TCM?
No, never bought any movies from Turner Classic Movies. If that's TCM. Yeah, no.
West. I was going to say that. Yeah, it's. I got to watch that thing by the end of the year. That's what I promised. Damn trains. All right. The Americana.
That's it, Peter Noon. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
All right. So, Tim, you're up. What's a good word?
Well, I was it. My thrift store has all media 50% off, and I bought nothing.
Oh no.
just nothing. I mean, things that I was like, and I walked out with nothing. But then I went to Big Lots today, and I found this, which isn't great, but it was only $1.25. It's 5 Bing Crosby films from 30s and 40s. Bing
Okay,
Crosby collection, $5, DVD, $1.25.
which movies?
Yeah.
Watch, I'm not even gonna be able to see. Here, maybe you guys can see. Can you guys
Hold on.
see? It's too dark for me to
Waikiki
read.
Wedding.
Double or Nothing.
Yeah, you read them.
East Side of Heaven, If I Had My Way, Here Comes the Waves.
Never heard of any of them.
There you go. Well, that's the idea. For me,
Right.
that's the idea. I've seen most of his famous movies. I want to
Right.
see his other stuff. So anyway, $1.25.
No Bells of St. Mary's on that.
And then I watched this, and I really like this movie. This is the horror movie that I wanted to talk. It's not real. I mean, it's 50s horror, but I don't know if Joe knows this. I don't know if anybody else knows this.
Yeah, I know it so well,
Correct.
so well that when you didn't even show it full front, you had it on a slight angle. That is one of my very favorite horror movies.
This was great. Olive did this. Unfortunately, that's why I say I don't know how you're going to find it.
Yeah.
Big Lots might have it. Your local Big Lots might have it. It was $4.
I got it when it was brand new.
The guy that played Dracula did, what's his name, Francis Lederer. I thought he was a great menacing guy. I didn't think he needed to be Dracula. He could have just been, just an undead guy. He didn't have to be
another vampire.
I
love the intro to that. I grew up with it on TV.
Yeah. Other than that, and rare for an Olive film, it actually has the trailer. At least it has one special feature. Olive films.
Tim, you know what I call that? You know what I call that? Dracula Goes to Mayberry.
Yeah, and I'm going to give a spoiler here, just a slight one.
I think I know what it is.
There's somebody getting killed, and this is a black and white film, and for about 10 seconds, it goes in color while they're getting killed. And that's kind of shock. For 1958, that had to be very shocking.
It's just faking scene.
Color! And then it's not. Well, this was great. I love it.
And just so you know,
it did seem long though. For some reason, it wasn't dragging, but it just felt. It's only an hour and like 20 minutes, not even. But it did seem slightly longer than that to me. I don't know why, but it wasn't dragging. It was great. I loved it.
He hated doing that movie, by the way. He talked about that later in his life. He hated doing. I forget what else he's in. He's in another horror movie called Terror Is a Man. Which Terror Is a Man is same vintage, but it's like The Island of Dr. Moreau, another one, something like that. And then he was in, I know he was in was it Confessions of a Nazi Spy or something like that? He was in one of a movie. He was around in a lot of non-horror movies.
Yeah.
Some of this, Francis Lederer. Yeah.
Yeah. So I also saw a movie that I don't know if Joe's seen this. It's horror adjacent just because of one person in it. It was in my war movie box, and it's called British Intelligence. Do you know this film, Joe? Karloff is in this movie. And I thought this movie I could understand some people not liking this movie because you don't know which side half of the characters are on till the very end of the movie. And it's written so that you think they're on one side, you think, no, they're on the other side. No, they're on, and you don't know till the very end. I thought it was well written. It was fairly well done, and I enjoyed it.
And I've never, even Loving Karloff, I've never seen it because of maybe I'm not interested in.
No, it's good because it's not really. It's not World War II for one thing. It's World War I, and it's still the English against the Germans. But Lugosi plays this Frenchman whose story is that his wife and son were killed by the Germans, and he was injured. He has this huge scar on his face and a limp, and and so he he wants the Germans out of France and blah 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 blah. But meanwhile, he's a German spy. But is he? And then you find out. I'm not giving too many spoilers away. Cause I'm not giving the end away. But then you find out he's working for British intelligence. But is he? Meanwhile, there's this woman that's a nurse for this British guy that's obviously British, but then next time you see her, she's in the office of one of the head Nazis, and she's heading to Britain to be the to stay at this with a cover story, to stay at the house of one of the higher ups in British intelligence. So she's a Nazi. So she's a Nazi spy, but is she? This is the way this movie goes.
You accidentally called him Bela Lugosi before, but
okay,
it's all right.
yeah, not Lugosi.
The reason I'm saying, since you mentioned Lugosi, somebody else is going to mention him too. Turner Classic Movies had a Lugosi night on apparently last night, and they played a lot of stinkers, including this one. I think this was one of them. Scared to Death. Yeah. Is it any good? I don't know why there's so many movies that are wasted opportunities. It happens even with stuff like 88. No, what's the one? No, what's the one with De Niro and Pacino that sucks? Righteous Kill.
Oh, Righteous Kill. Yeah,
like stuff like that. Like this has some good actors, and I mean Lugosi and George Zucco, who's in a lot of these horror movies. Usually a Mad Doctor or something. Right. Anyway, it's notable because first of all, it was in 1946, which was an empty year for horror films. There was like no horror films. It's like probably the only thing, one of the very few horror films, and of course, as it says here, it's Lugosi's color movie.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I bought that when I was a kid on VHS. In the discount, in the budget racks of because it was public domain. But it's Lugosi in color, and that's clearly
that's the only reason to see it. And also George Zucco for me and something like that. But not one of his last movies. No. Well, maybe, but he did stuff in after that in 48 and he did Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein after that. This is 1946. Yeah, so.
And terrible title. Nobody gets scared to death in it, from what I remember.
Well, you sound like Doc Dacus. We were talking a little about the human centipede, and he's saying, "Oh, how could this happen? And how could that happen?" I'm like, "Geez, stop, Doc." Please.
Well, yeah, but no, just the title implies,
title.
that somebody's scared to, and I don't remember anybody dying from fright in this movie, or even I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but
Return of Dracula is free on Tubi, and this is Anthony.
Tubi.
Go ahead.
Well, Tubi is great. Okay, Tubi is awesome, but remember, it's not going to be there forever. None of these movies are on streaming services.
Yeah, that's
right.
So, and I'm not saying that one is, and sometimes they're cut too. Sometimes they're cut versions.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to see it,
Yeah.
And Zombies on Broadway, that's another Lugosi movie. Anthony brought this up, but I think that's 1945 with Lugosi, and it's got a comedy team called Brown and Carney, who were like Abbott and Costello wannabes, and they did a few movies. And Zombies on Broadway is one of it's a comedy, and it's got Lugosi in it. Pretty good as a mad scientist, but it's all right for a comedy. Oh, here we go. Well, I see a lot of Tom. This is all horror. I guess it's Halloween season. Could that be why? I don't know.
Well, Richard James clearly isn't a movie fan.
I've never seen Ice Cream Man, but doesn't that have Clint Howard in it? Ron Howard's brother?
You're Ron Howard's brother, yeah. It's funny. I love how Ron Howard always casts his Clint in like small roles in all of his movies.
Yeah. Sad, huh? Like a Night Shift, he had a small role in that too.
Yeah. Yep. Sure did.
But he talked about Joker too a bit. I don't know if you want to do it again or you want to tell him to go back.
one more time. But listen, I mean, is it great? No. Is it as good as the first one? No. But I don't think it was. I don't think it was pointless. I didn't think it was horrible. I did somewhat like the ending, more than other people's did. some of the musical numbers did work for me, but as a whole, it was a disappointment. And that's that.
See, now I got another answer for FD Superstar. Ever see Face of the Screaming Werewolf? Of course I have. It's, I think, 1959. It's Lon Chaney Jr., the Wolfman. It's a Mexican film, and it's originally called, I think, La Casa del Terror, House of Terror. I think that's what it's called. And Face of the Screaming Werewolf is the Americanized title. And the only versions I've seen, pretty sure, are all in Spanish. I have one. It's pretty good quality. And you have subtitles, I don't think, but you kind of know what's going on, more or less. But the reason that it's worthwhile for fans of the genre is because it has Lon Chaney Jr. again being kind of fat, older, fat, and drunk, wearing the same clothes like he played in the old Wolfman movies of the 40s, turning into a werewolf again, like a Wolfman, not a like it looks like he's, if the Wolfman gained 80 pounds or something,
Right.
and it's some of those films, like when Tim's laughing, I agree. Some of them are funny. You watch them because they're so ridiculous and funny or whatever, and have fun with them. And that's, people watch that because he plays the Wolfman character in it again in Mexico. So collecting booze bucks. So. I was supposed to see Terrifier 3 tomorrow. Yes, he's supposed to play Santa Claus, one of those Santa Claus killer things. I heard that people are walking out and getting sick, they can't take it, and I haven't heard that kind of hype since the 70s. So I'm wondering if that's true or it's marketing or what.
It could be marketing. I wouldn't be surprised if it's marketing, but then again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's true as well.
Because I can't recommend the other two. I've seen them, but Danny likes them a lot. But the thing is, they really literally are the definition of just gore for gore's sake. It's just he's a clown, but he's a clown. He's Art the clown, they call him. He's a character. He's become like Jason or Freddy or something, and he's really got charisma about him. He'll give you the little. He'll go like. Does these funny these cute things, then he'll slice your throat a million ways or something. It's like, so anyway, that's what that is. But I'm going to see it eventually. The Bob Dylan biopic with the Wonka actor. Is Tim going to see?
No.
Tim Chalamet. And
I'm definitely going to see that myself.
Yeah. I will be there on Christmas Day to see it.
But Christmas Day I won't be able to do it. I'll probably be in Maine, and it's only going to be one day.
No, it opens on Christmas Day.
It better, because I thought it said Christmas Day only, but I hope they meant
No.
only opening on Christmas Day only.
It's opening on Christmas Day, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you saw it, right?
I already saw Megalopolis in theaters. I saw it last week, and it's probably going to be my worst film of the year.
Get that channel going. Use it as Tom's worst pick of the year. I love the movie The Alligator People. Yeah, it's another Lon Chaney collecting booze bucks around this. It's the same year, 59, come to think of it. Well, only it's American movie. It's not. And it's.
I love that term. I so love that term.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't originate it. I was a friend of mine. We used to watch movies all the time, and he'd say,
"Yeah, no, I had heard it. Yeah, I've heard it before."
Oh, really? Maybe he got it from somewhere. I don't know. But the thing is, the idea was like some of these actors, when they get, they're just trying to make some money, especially Chaney, because he was a drinker, They get drunk. He used to say, record everything before 2:00 or something. Get everything you can before 2, because then I'm out of it.
Right.
There's a few of them, I mean, I think Ray Milland with the man with the X-ray eyes could possibly, or Victor Mature in Head.
Yeah.
Booze box.
They do something in his hair, don't they? Don't they, Tim? I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. Victor Mature with his hair. Wasn't there something with his hair in that movie?
No. He's a giant in the desert. When Mickey's trying to blow up the Coke machine with the tank to get into it because he doesn't have a quarter or whatever, and Victor Mature shows up as a giant. It's just odd.
Well, I haven't seen it in ages. I like it to come out where I can just buy it on Blu-ray, boom, like that. But yes, there's a werewolf movie with David Jansen. Is that the one called Moon of the Wolf? I think it is. Moon of the Wolf. It's a made-for-TV movie, one of those ABC Movie of the Week things, and I don't remember it being very good. Does Tim like any movie from the last century?
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
the last century.
from the last, do you mean 2000s?
century.
If he means this century, the last century, yeah, all movies are from the last century.
Hey, wasn't it Victor Mature to see with the dandruff as well?
No. That was just a commercial. I think maybe they cut. That's how they got there. I can't remember, but no, that's just a fake thing, and they're in a dandruff commercial. But it's not Victor Mature's hair. It may start out that way. I haven't seen it in quite a while either.
Well, this is mostly for Tom. I guess was this a good year for movies? Do you think?
I think it's been an average year for movies. As we know, we had how many strikes did we have late last year? We had a writer strike and an actor strike. So a lot of movies were either not started or halfway completed, or they were just pushed to 2025. So this was just an average year as of right now. Now this is we're starting to enter award season. Which now, yes, they generally wait for the movies they feel are going to be award worthy. So now we're going to start seeing a lot more films come out, but it's been average at best this year, unfortunately.
Tim,
Although there has been some good stuff. There has been some good stuff, but for the most part, I think it's been average.
Tim, how can you tell these days if there's a writer's strike or not?
I don't know.
I did that for Tom.
Does it?
Hey, look, I'm not qualified to say. I don't see a lot of new movies. So
did the people that hit the AI buttons on the computer go on strike too? Because that's how you would know. Otherwise, I don't know how you'd know.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons why actors and writers went on strike, is because they want the studios to rely less on AI.
God, I'm happy up anyway. Does anyone know the name of a movie with Ted Cassidy and Mickey Rooney as guards at a women's prison? Heard about it, but never saw it. That sounds amazing. Ted Cassidy and Mickey Rooney, one extreme to the other. But I don't know. Probably on something weird.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great if they were in one of those 70s women in jail films, exploitation films?
There's a lot of those great movies. I recommend the Ilsa movies. I forget what I was going to ask. It reminded me of something. Oh, no, I was going to say, that's right, that I also saw The Fly. Some people know I did a video, The Fly from 1986, which I avoided for many years, Cronenberg, and I really liked it. And, I did a good positive review on it. But, I like the effects. Before CGI, practical effects. And what I liked about it most was the tragedy, the emotion, feeling sorry for the character, Jeff Goldblum's character, going through that hell, turning into a human fly bit by bit, slowly. That's what I liked about it. And Gina Davis and him together, I kind of liked that. At first, I was watching it and I was thinking, it's not that much. But then it got more and more emotional to me, really, and I like that. So I always prefer story, characters, emotion, feelings, being invested in them.
Yeah.
I always like that, even though you will go see me go and see Terrifier 3, or Human Centipede, Human Centipede. I like that Mad Doctor. Even Doc Dacus, who didn't really love the movie, when he saw it based on my recommendation, recommendation, he said it was, but the doctor, I'll give you that. He said that guy was really great as the crazy doctor. And I'm like, that's what I liked about it, His experiment, taking 3 people and stitching them together, taking their knees out so you can't get up and have to be on all fours and attached to each other, face to, whatever.
Right.
It's insane. Go ahead.
Right. No, I'm saying, does he explain why? I have no interest in seeing these movies, but I mean, does he give his reasonings why he wants to
Yes,
do this? Okay,
absolutely.
all right,
Well, he doesn't
okay,
say it per se, but
yeah,
I can tell you the reason.
yeah,
He's nuts. Like a lot of the reason why, like, well, he was a doctor who was an expert, world renowned expert
right,
in separating Siamese twins, and now he's retired, but he's got these
yeah,
other
He's
ideas.
retired but bored, apparently.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
bored.
So
And like
instead of
you can't do
separating, he wants to join them now, right?
that. Yeah, now he's doing the opposite. I can't call it a
Right,
good movie. That's the problem I get into. I almost wanted to give it 3 out of 4, like a good movie, but I gave it 2.5 because But he could be doing it. In the old days, they used to get these mad doctors. They used to put like a brain into a gorilla, or give some, or do
right,
something like that, or 2 heads or something. But now it doesn't matter what he's doing to me, which happens to be grotesque. But that's the idea. Imagine being like in the wrong place at the wrong time with a guy like this. So this is what he wants to do. That's the horrifying aspect of it. But obviously they don't show you a lot of things. If a lot of results, it's more implied than anything else because they all share the same digestive system.
right.
That's only a moment in the movie anyway.
I know South Park made fun of it in one of
Oh,
their episodes. Yeah,
oh, that could have finished the Fly movie early.
yeah,
I think you talk about exploitation, Anthony, that movie you were talking about. Yeah, I should know that, but you know, I've heard of this question before. We got this
yeah.
question once recently.
I
I don't
I
know.
have no I have no plans of ever seeing The Room. I just, I mean, I've seen clips of it. There's just no interest whatsoever.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
that.
Eric. Yep.
Yeah, Talk More Talk is our solo Beatles video podcast show. Also on YouTube. Subscribe.
Right.
Talk More Talk for solo Beatles.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Happiness is a hard watch. But it's not as hard as Centerpiece. I guess I can imagine. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Uneasiness in Happiness. Pedophilia, and you just a lot of stuff in that movie that just goes, why am I watching this? But the performances are fantastic. It's a younger Philip Seymour Hoffman is in there. Yeah, taboo, I guess you can say. But yeah, a lot of topics that people just don't want to talk about. but uh, but
You
I
know,
enjoy it because I have a sick, twisted mind. So
well, wait a minute. Then why are you watching Human Centipede?
no,
I'm putting that
no, it's
challenge
not
to
that
you.
sick. It's
I'm
not
putting
that
that
sick.
challenge to you. And believe me when I tell you, you don't see anything. That's all, in that
All right.
regard. But anyway, when you put Taboo up there, I thought of Tattoo, the movie Tattoo with
Oh,
Bruce Dern. And that thing, is that a lost movie? I mean, I saw that in the movie theater, and it's like it was on VHS, and it's not been out. As a matter
yeah,
of
it could
fact,
be.
I sorry, I keep talking. I got to meet Bruce Dern when he had his autobiography out,
Mm,
and a couple of things I told him. But one of the things that I had asked in the Q&A was about that movie, and he said, "Oh, it's out. It's out." But it wasn't. But I wasn't going to tell him. No, it's not.
yeah,
But maybe it's out in a foreign country or
right.
something. But he's a tattoo artist that goes not like kind of like, I think Maud Adams is in it, and he
Mm,
tattoos Maud Adams all over or something because he's into tattoo. I don't know,
yeah.
something like that.
Oh,
Well, I don't know. I'm going to see two. I heard a lot about two.
that's about all
Yeah,
I want to see.
I got you.
I did hear that I think it was either two or three where when they do show them all together and they're doing, you see stuff coming out of the side of the mouth.
Oh well, it wasn't in one.
Yeah.
It wasn't in one.
Okay. All right.
So
You know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, it was just like, what do you call it? Implied, like, it's happening, but you don't. It's like, but that was only, and it's only for one moment. It's like, I guess it's an inevitable thing of, well, that's going to happen. So they dress it for like one little scene. But anyway, that has nothing to do with the rest of it.
And then the question I have then is just, how does that person not choke to death?
Yeah, well, I don't want to spoil anything with it.
Because
he doesn't think everything through, that's for sure.
Unless it's 1 and 2 and not just 2.
Oh, well, he's going. I can't tell you. I don't want to ruin it. Unless I don't ruin it, you're going to see it. No two ways about it.
No, I'm not going to see that movie. No way. No way.
Wait a minute. I'm doing what that guy did in the video rant.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Exactly. Yeah.
Bowie.
Well, thanks a lot, Joe. Thanks a lot, Joe.
I'm done. You're not watching it. You don't have to. I suggested it. That's all. No, but like I tell you, in my defense, he really was pushing it. I mean, it was going on. We were in the diner. We were walking out of the diner. It's like, right. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, I haven't seen that.
No.
Part 2 is shot in black, and it looks like good cinematography, black and white. What I hear is that in the second movie, they treat the first movie as what it is, a movie. And the second movie, the guy saw the first one. He saw the movie Human Centipede, and now he wants to emulate it. That's what I understand. How I understand. Oh yeah, how did I not mention it? Well, absolutely. Let's go, Mets. But
Tigers Mets World Series.
Oh, the Tigers are in it.
Yeah.
Wow, I remember many years ago when they were really bad or something.
Yeah, they had broke the record. They had broke the record that I think the White Sox beat it this year.
I just remember one year I think it was them where they won a game, and they were jumping around like it was the World Series because they won a game. I don't know how it was like a record of how many they might have lost in a row.
No, I think it was Baltimore. It was the Orioles. They had broken the record for most losses in a row.
Oh.
Yeah, it could have been that maybe. But the Tigers, they have stunk for years.
Yeah, but I tell everybody, I tell my nephew this, I don't like thinking like this, but I'm a jinx. If I'll not watch a game all year, and then one day I'll be driving in my car. I say, let me turn the radio on. And I'll turn on, okay, and here we go. And here it is. And he drops the ball. He dropped the ball. I can't, but I shut it off. And I'm like, how could that be? And it happens anytime, Okay, and here we go. Bases loaded, the Mets are leading, and now the bases are loaded for the other team. And here comes the heavy hitter up at bat. I'm like, oh, geez, I hope he doesn't do anything. Grand slam. Every time I turn it on, Mets lose. I'm like, so there's always a joke like that. The other night, I put a game on. I told my nephew, I don't know if I should put this game on. And while I was watching, this is true. I don't remember the player because I don't know them all. Must have been the shortstop. There was a play at the plate, and he had to very quickly. He had to get the ball and throw the guy out from third. We're coming home up from third, and he bobbles the ball. So the guy scored. I'm like, here we go again. I did it again. Same thing happened last night. I'm on my way to see Daytime Revolution. I'm in the car, so I'll put the game on. I listened to the first inning. A similar thing happened again. This is just a couple of nights later, same person, same situation. He bobbles the ball and the run scores again. And they said, I can't believe that. The Phillies lead 1-0. This is early. So all right, well, they lead 1-0. Shut it off. I see the movie. I watch the John Lennon movie. When it's over, I hear people saying to me, hey, the Mets won. They're in it. They go into the, what is it called? NCS? They go into the series.
The next round.
So it's a good thing I didn't watch them. Good thing I was in the movie theater. I really feel like that sometimes. What's the Matto Metzi's jinx? There was
Probably
definitely
meant Mayo. It should have meant the Mayo.
Mayo Metzi's jinx. Oh, good. Oh, yeah, Mayo
Yeah,
Metzi's.
there he goes. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's no good to think like that. But and my girlfriend always says I'm crazy with things like that. But I say, listen, I've been in these shoes for a lot of decades, and things like that happen. Yeah, that's NLCS. Yeah. Boy, that's a get off the topic, but
Yes, sir.
where are we at? Tim, did you finish everything that you?
Yeah, other than I could talk about another war movie, but I can't remember what it's called. But I watched it. Terrible quality, this one, but it had. Now I'm not even gonna remember her name. Oh God, it's terrible. Don't get old, folks. She's an Asian actress, and she starred in the first full-length color movie. What the hell is her name? But anyway, she was in this movie in the 40s. It was a war movie, and she played an agent too, and you wondered what side she was on as well. But she turned out to be.
It is she?
But why can't I think of her name?
The same reason I can't.
The movie's called The Toll of the Sea, but it is 1922, two-strip Technicolor, the first full-length.
Olivia de Havilland?
No, she's Asian. It's an Asian.
So somebody that wasn't me. It was Eric asking. So you know.
Yeah. No, it's an Asian
In the
movie.
meantime, while you're thinking, I guarantee you'll get the name while I'm answering this question. All right. So think about the name. In that daytime revolution with John and Yoko, was there unseen footage? I mean, no, not unseen footage of John and Yoko. It opened up with them doing Attica State. And I would say this doesn't look like the John Sinclair benefit, but it was the Apollo Theater. They were doing it in. They do that at the beginning of the show. I think pre-credits. And then that's how they start that movie. They start saying how, John had just like done this song and they were starting to get really political and radical. And then how they wound up getting on the Mike Douglas show. It's nice to tell it like a story. And then at the end, which I didn't mention, I didn't see, it's not ruining anything, but because we know what happened. But it says that after the Mike Douglas appearance, that's when the Nixon administration started really zeroing in on them after that. And then, trying to throw them out.
Eric got it. Anna May Wong.
Anna May Wong.
Who, most people think that she disappeared after silent films, but she didn't. She did a lot of films, a lot of B movies, unfortunately. But
I think we discussed.
Are you messing with me, Beatletti?
He was here early too, Beatletti.
Listen, I don't know if you're joking or kidding, Beatletti, and I don't, don't be offended by that. But
no, I don't think he is.
I don't know if you've been watching the whole show since we've been started, but I've talked about it twice.
Maybe the guy had to take a dump or something.
Yeah, maybe he did. He should have taken his phone or laptop with him while he did. But Beatletti, okay, one more time for everybody watching, please don't leave your screen. Okay, the movie to me was a disappointment, but I did like the last scene of the movie. Okay. I did.
Could you put that into words which even Caesar could understand?
There you go. Okay, the movie was a disappointment as a whole, but the ending, I liked it.
So.
Okay. What's next?
A little factoid.
Oh.
You get that, Tim? I'm sorry. I don't know if people read it.
No, that's okay.
Anna.
Anna
May Wong and.
I'm fascinating by Asians in Hollywood in the early days because there was so much racism going on, but some of them succeeded despite it, which is a very good thing. She was one.
Oh, okay, I've seen her before.
Yeah.
Yeah. She born in 1905 in Los Angeles and died in 61.
Yeah. did films up to about 1950, I think, and then kind of
Oh, I
slowly.
have. Okay, she was in Douglas Fairbanks' The Thief of Baghdad. Yeah, so she's
Yeah,
a silent film actress from
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. But then
Yeah.
she did a lot of talking films.
Yeah.
Um, she might have even been in a western at one point. Um,
Mm,
anyway, I can't remember the name of this film, but it's a British spy film, and she's a good spy.
mm-hmm.
And
Or is she?
no, she you doubted her for a while actually, but no,
Right.
she was.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's anything like the end I'm thinking. I can't spoil the other film too. Like the whole kind of concept that people just generally do sometimes in TV shows and things. It was all a dream, or it was all part of the mind thing, in the
Right.
person's mind kind of thing. So
Yeah. No, it wasn't anything like that.
Yeah, and
But it has to do with people worshiping you know criminals, or they're worshiping you know radicals or whatnot, and then being let down by them. Okay, so and then what happens is this person, he's kind of like a disciple of Joker. Okay, and then he was just, and the same thing with Lady Gaga. Okay, they're both kind of like disciples, or not. In Lady Gaga's perspective, she falls for him because she loves the character of Joker. But when Arthur Fleck does not. Oh, that's a good way to put it. But when Arthur Fleck does not, when he starts to reject Joker, okay, that's when Lady Gaga, then she rejects him, and then the guy that does what he does at the end, is let down by Arthur Fleck rejecting Joker as well, and then it just becomes a completely different film. So, yeah.
I wonder. I don't think I could stay awake tonight for this. It's early. It's 6:30, but I'm tired. I got up 5 o'clock today. It's like, but how long is this? For one thing, the first thing I do whenever I put a movie on is look at the.
well, if it's a modern movie, it's at least 2.5 hours long.
I would be surprised if this wasn't. Uh, oh, I can't find it. Little print.
Which I find hysterical because in the 90s they were trimming movies. In the 90s they were trimming movies to be like 90 minutes so they could fit more screenings in a day. And now films, 3 hours, maybe we'll sell more snacks if it's 3 hours. I think. That's what the thinking is.
Well, these days, people feel gypped if it's like 90 minutes or 87 minutes or something.
you know, um, you
Possibly,
know,
but if that's if the movie flows better as a 90-minute film,
Right,
then let it be 90 minutes,
right.
but I can tell you that, like, I'm speaking specifically of Miramax here. Miramax trimmed everything to 90 minutes, and like the Jackie Chan films, you can say what you want about them, but until you've seen the actual Hong Kong film, you haven't seen any of the Miramax films that Jackie
Yeah.
Chan starred in. Most of them were a good half an hour or 45 minutes long and needed to be. Um,
Yeah. Well, I would disagree with you then, because there's plenty of Miramax films like that are over an hour and a half. I mean, the Pulp Fiction for one is over 2 hours. Jackie Brown is over 2 hours. There's plenty of
Okay, well, I'm
Miramax
mainly
films.
I'm talking maybe mainly about films that they didn't actually make but they released.
Fair enough.
Especially foreign
Yeah.
films, like Hong Kong films were always 90 minutes, and I haven't seen it, but I have heard that Jackie Chan's Rumble in the Bronx is actually a a not really good, but a pretty good, much better film than the Americans saw if you get to see the whole thing. But I've never
Right.
been able to find the whole thing. I found the film he did before that. I forgot what it was, which I had about the same reaction in the American version, and I own the Hong Kong cut, and it makes a world of difference. Just building the story. I mean, Miramax is famous for cutting the story out and just leaving the action in, but you kind of need the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Ed Wood, I think, is an enjoyable film. It's a good film and all that. It's fun and it's funny and it's this and it's that. But the thing is, it's also a lot of it is not 100% accurate.
No, it's
You
not.
know,
I
and
wouldn't watch it is for being accurate, but
again, my problem with that, whenever people say that, people say, "Oh, you should know going in that these things are not always accurate." There are the average Joe six-pack go in there, they think it's verbatim. A lot of them do, and that ruins it. They thought Lugosi was like that in that movie and everything. And
I think it's Tim Burton's best film, to be honest.
It's
I'm not a Tim Burton fan,
me
but I
either,
do
really.
like
Yeah, I'm thinking. It got me thinking. I always say, that I'll go along. Ed Wood. I like Edward Scissorhands. I only saw it once in the theaters. I thought it was good. I don't remember it much, but I know I liked it. And Batman. Those are my favorite Tim Burton movies. Unless I'm missing some. But it ain't Planet of the Apes.
Kiwi's Big Adventure. I love that one. But yeah, he came out strong. He's been kind of laying some duds lately. Actually, for like maybe the last 20 years or so.
But I will say, I believe Ed Wood is entertaining, in my opinion. I think my nephew loved it when he saw it.
Yeah,
I think it's worth watching.
It's just telling the basic story of Ed Wood. It's not factual at all, but it's telling the story of Ed. Ed Wood never walked into a bar dressed as a woman and met Orson Welles. That never happened, but it's a great scene. I love that scene. Yeah. A lot of that stuff never happened, but it's still it tells the story, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yeah, that's probably why I saw it in the first place. Edward Scissorhands. Miss Kleptomania. So I missed something here. Wait a minute? Did we put this? Oh, yeah, that's who I missed. All due respect, gentlemen. First thing, but then, did I put this up here? I don't think so. You know this?
Was that the one with George Clooney? I vaguely remember something being called The Americans.
I haven't seen it. I think I passed it up at my thrift store today, but I haven't seen it.
Yes, yeah. Some of them are a daunting task. And talking about Midas Man, I dread that movie. I really do. But based on the trailer, anyway. I know the trailer's not everything, but sometimes it's enough to see they got a trailer and a clip that I saw them in the studio with George Martin, based on that. But there you go, October 30th. Oh, I have to. I have to watch it. I definitely have to. I mean, I got to see it. But a couple of funny moments in Ed Wood where they have to flee the theater because the audience is so angry about the movie being so bad. Yeah, things like that. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
And yes, of course, Bela Lugosi was addicted to a drug, but morphine. But the thing that you didn't know, unless I'm in that movie, I don't remember them saying why. He had sciatic nerve pain in his legs, and that's why he started taking it and became dependent on it, and took it even if he didn't, by his own admission, even if he didn't have pain, he took it. It put him in a good state of feeling, even if he didn't have pain. But the thing is, he just make it look like, I'm just going to get high, heroin or something, if I remember. And he never would curse Karloff out like that. Although everybody loves that film. And how would I know? Only because his son Bela Lugosi Jr. Said that, and anybody who had known him in Hollywood or met him at the time said he wouldn't do that, But hey, look, it works in the movie.
I really haven't. I doubt. Well, yeah, okay, that's the TV show. Okay, Tim, didn't you get a
Oh,
season of that?
that.
Yeah.
I watched half of the first season and I couldn't get behind it. The show was fine, but it's set in the 80s and they're Russian spies
Or are
and
they?
they're the heroes. And I have a hard time getting behind that. You know, I'm sorry, but they're the bad guys. You know, and this is it. It's a whole series of you have to root for the bad guy, and I couldn't do that. I'm too much of an American for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Lugosi calling Karloff it was a limey blank sucker, even if he didn't say that. It's so ridiculous. What an insult. But
I will go back to the Americans one day, by the way, but I just.
oops. So, personality wise, it's Peter Cushing all the way for me. But I met Christopher Lee. He's the only one of the great classic horror stars that I got to meet, Christopher Lee. But anyway, it's hard for me to say. I mean, I like them both. They're really good together in the movies they're together. I might go with Peter Cushing. I definitely would go. As a matter of fact, definitely would.
I'd go Christopher Lee myself.
Oh.
What else?
Yeah, what else? We're at the 76-minute mark, which is we can wrap it up soon if you like. So anywhere between like an hour and 90 minutes is fine with me. Yeah, I've seen I Monster. It's a British version. Christopher Lee's in it, but it's Peter Cushing in it. I think he is, and it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But instead of calling it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, they call him something else, Dr. Marlowe and Mr. Somebody or something like that. I get them mixed up. They change the names, and it's not called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's called I, Monster. So, and it's not too good, in my opinion.
They've had a very, very rough history of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Especially yeah. There's plenty of documentaries and stuff on that topic that you can see. So I mean, there's really I don't know what I can really say about that hasn't already been said, but I do think they're getting better on it. I do think they're making a conscious effort to improve on their past mistakes dealing with ethnic groups and women.
They're still making mistakes, though. I mean,
they're just doing it differently now.
They're still
overcompensating.
And if you make something outside of the system, then they don't like you, and
Right. Oh yeah.
They're still doing that.
But it has definitely improved, no doubt about it.
Yeah. But I mean, then when they do make films the right way, like that, I mean, no one's going to see them. So double-edged sword in a way.
I used to think, like when we talk about like superhero movies and things, and how it's oversaturated, and why don't they put better movies in? And Tom says, which is true, a lot of people don't go to see them, like drama or certain kinds of other films. But I always thought, maybe I'm wrong, that well, now they have streaming and everything, so it's different. But before that, I used to say, put that on, just don't give them a choice, so to speak. Like, stop making them. Make only those kind of movies. They'll see what's on the menu. When they want to go to a movie, whatever it is, if they're only offering up dramas or, whatever we want to call them, non-superhero movies, that's all you've got. They'll pick something and go to the movies and see them again, and it'll come back.
Right. It'll come back. I mean, there was a time where you could go to a movie on a weekend and say, like, let's say, like, if your movie that you did want to see was sold out, there'd be like 3 or 4 other movies that came out that day as well.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
that you could go see. There would be
yeah.
an action adventure, there would be a western, or there would be a comedy, or there would be a sci-fi flick. So there used to be a greater variety of
Oh,
films
yeah.
that used to come out.
There was
Yeah,
huge.
yeah,
I just like to say, how dare anyone in Hollywood complain about movie attendance when they're the ones that invented streaming and started putting it in everybody's houses for free. How dare they, once they do that, and I know it's not free, it's like $20 a month or whatever, but how dare they do that and then say, well, nobody's going to the theater? You did it. I get that they were mad at television because they had nothing to do with television, but this streaming thing is them.
well,
So
yeah, and then what are they doing? And what are they doing? If you look, then what they're also doing is they're when a movie comes out on Friday, they're already announcing that in 6 weeks you can get
yeah,
it on Blu-ray, or you can
Yeah,
stream it over
that's
or
here.
another
So
thing.
streaming is
yeah.
more important than the physical.
And most
So
people don't care about. They're not movie
Yeah,
theater aficionados. They don't care. They'll see it
yeah.
all.
but
See it on
You
TV.
used to have to wait between a year and a half and 2 years for a
right.
movie to come out on
But you know
VHS.
what? The theater chains aren't helping themselves either. They're giving us 25 minutes of trailers that we don't
Yeah.
need. And then plus
Well,
obviously there's the concessions that I mean that's how they make their money.
yeah.
But then again, they're not doing anything to get more people in.
And I think the trailers and all the crap that they're showing at the beginning, they're getting paid for too, which is part of their income, and
Right.
that's why they're doing it. They wouldn't do it for free, and I don't, again, because attendance is so low, you can't really blame them for trying. They're trying, it's that or they close, so they
Well,
do
Yeah, I mean,
there's one there we got. So I've got the AMC here, and I've got another one called MJR, which is a Michigan-based, I guess, theater chain. On Tuesdays, they got $5 Tuesdays. Okay, where any movie that they have showing is $5. Okay, that's at least an attempt to get people
yeah,
in the theater.
there's a lot of people like MC64 here that they're happy home. I'm never going back to seeing a movie in a theater again. I'm way more comfortable watching it at home on my schedule. That's one way of looking at it. But boy, there's nothing like it. Even when I saw
yeah,
Daytime Revolution, that's
Yeah.
going to be like perfect on TV. I mean, you don't
yeah,
need to go to a movie theater per se to see that, the John and Yoko thing that came out. However, I loved it on the big screen. I never to see the Mike Douglas, like the TV show on a big screen, and the sound was good in this one. The performances was good sound. Whereas when I went to see One Hand Clapping, I didn't like the sound. I'm not blaming the movie, maybe the theater that I went into, a different theater.
all right.
But I want to say something also about this. As I used to always say, when people say, "Oh, people talk during a movie, they're unruly, make noise." I never had that in all my decades of going to movies. I never had that many bad experiences, but I've had them more now post COVID than I've ever had in the
Mhm.
70s or the 80s or the 90s. I don't know why that is, unless people just think now they can.
I don't think kids of a certain generation, let's say kids born around 2000 or after, or maybe even a little before, I don't think their parents took them to movies when they were
No,
little.
I don't think
So
they
they
care. I
don't
don't
know
think
how
they
to
care.
behave in
No.
movies.
But I'm telling
Right.
you, the crazy thing is, most of the experiences I've had are older people. Most of the time, it's
Yes,
Oh,
older people.
really?
listen, and funny you say that because when I was at the movie Monday, okay, there was an older couple, old people older than you and Tim,
Yeah,
okay, and at the end of the movie, as the plot is coming around, this woman is yelling out loud to her husband, who might have been hard of hearing. Oh my God, it's this. Oh my God, it's just like, do you need to
yeah.
scream
It
this out
drives me
loud?
nuts, man.
I
Well,
was really close to giving. Yeah,
old people have always done that,
yeah,
Not a lot,
but
my experience, but
yeah,
not as much as
yeah,
now. I don't know. I feel like COVID did something to people. I don't mean physically. I mean in a sense that
right.
Oh,
Well,
you
yeah,
could just
socialization isn't what it was. It's sort of people learn how to socialize together
and
in a group.
when I saw Daytime Revolution, I didn't mention it, but I will now because there was a couple, and they were an older couple. I don't know, my age, or around my age, if not a little older even, and they were talking. Now this is literal. It's not just to get an effect, a reaction through the whole movie, the whole
Yeah.
thing. And I mean, now I was able to disregard it. It was close enough that I could hear it. And I'm not even going to tell you, I hope they're not watching, who they were, because they were among the entourage I went with.
Right.
And they were sitting over like by themselves, like you have the main, say center rows,
Right.
and then there's that little section of something on the side, like maybe 3 or
Right.
4 seats on a slight angle. And they were there by
Right.
themselves. Maybe they thought nobody could hear them. And a phone was on. They were looking up the Mets game
Yeah.
to see how
Yeah.
the Mets game was going. And I couldn't believe it. I
Yeah.
just and I go into every little detail, but like, what are you here for if you're just going to talk during the
Right.
whole damn movie?
And it's the same at concerts too. At the ELO show last night, I had a guy was sitting next to a guy that was again had to been older than both of you two, and he was on setlist.com looking up the set list while the show was there,
Yeah,
while the show
yeah.
was going.
I believe it.
It's like, are you kidding me? And then the whole row of people in front of me, they're all filming it at the same time.
See, in that regard, I understand when people say, "Oh, no way, man! I'm staying home where it's quiet. I can watch it, no interruptions." I get that. I used to not get it because I never experienced it that often. Sure, in the '70s, it happened. In the '80s, '90s, yeah, it happened. But I mean, maybe it was like one out of every to me, it seemed 40 times. It was like very rare and with more respect,
Yeah. I haven't been to a theater in years, but I miss it. If we had a decent theater, I'd go. But all we have is little tiny shoebox theater in the mall. I mean, I don't know how many theaters this thing's been cut into. It was originally only 3 when it was built. It's probably like 8 or 10 now. And I have no interest, and that's it. That's all we got. And they only show basically comic book movies and Fast and the Furious
I'm so
movies
spoiled,
anyway.
man. I have so many things: record stores, movie theater. When I move, it's going to be tough. As far as Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, yeah, I'm familiar with it. It's another Hammer horror movie from England. It's a good one. I think that's Hammer's real contribution to the Jekyll and Hyde thing. And of course, it was 1971, and the idea that a doctor says, "What makes a woman's skin so soft, and why do women retain their hair while men lose their what?" And he says, "Hormones, female hormones." He's like discovered his ideas, and it was like back then. It's like, oh, he's always turns into a beautiful woman, And I really think that was amazing for the time. And Martine Beswick is really hot in that movie. That's Sister Hyde, and they made one later. I love Sean Young as well in her best days.
Yeah,
that's a comedy, right? Dr. Jekyll and Ms. Hyde, which is a complete comedy. See, that's the difference with me. See, I like it when it's a complete send up. It's supposed to be a comedy movie,
right?
Like Young Frankenstein. It's not like you're making a horror movie, but you make it stupid too. So that's my thing. What do we got here? I got to catch up a little bit. Columbia made the Monkeys. We got Melody is in here, and stay in there, bud. We're gonna be getting off soon anyway. When I went to see the re-release of Rock Show back in after every song, the whole theater clapped along with the audience of the movie. It was bizarre but great. Well, I like when I call it nothing like watching a movie in a theater on a big screen with big sound with a nice audience, an appreciative, I call it, audience, respectful. They laugh as a comedy. They laugh. There's nothing like it. They all laugh together. They applaud. Good scenes. I used to love that when you can get that.
Right.
Scream if it's a horror movie.
I agree. I agree. There's nothing. I love it. It's my home away from home. I just. And I
Yeah,
was close there too. I mean, there was a point in time where maybe like in 17, 18, and 19, 2018, around that time, where I was like really considering not stopping going to the theater as well, because the phone thing was just getting out of hand.
yeah. The
It
phones, that
just,
really sucks,
you
man.
know,
It's very distracting when you like that. Those
right.
up. Yeah, I did this. It was. Oh, I'll never forget that. It was during Ben-Hur. They brought Ben-Hur back to the theater. Well, I saw the theater a few times, and that's I love that movie. And this woman was talking. I made a rant video about it. Yeah. So it was great to see Mike here. Please check out his channel, Movie Lovers, Gray 1951 Media Channel. One day
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure I'll convince you to come up here. You ever see his
Yeah.
channel?
I watch your channel,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yep.
I
I've seen it.
I
He does good stuff.
I like that his wall clock goes off in most of his videos. I find that I look forward to that.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. And Mike, I got to tell you, of course, I can relate to this. I've told stories many times where I went to see a movie, and they just laugh through it. They think they go there intending to laugh. They go intending to lampoon it. They want to do that, and especially youngers these days. In that case, it's the younger people. Yeah, the Mystery Science Theater crowd. I'm not saying it didn't exist before that, but they think now it's in vogue. But it depends what theater you go to and what the situation is. I have another theater like this one I'm talking about. That it's just artsy films, independent for the real dedicated film purists, and that's where they go. So they go to respect the movies. They won't laugh at them or send them up, make light of them.
Right.
Dad's Mobile Home Theater. Yeah, maybe that's what it's about. They get caught up in I was there rather than actually paying attention. I gotta start wrapping this up, folks. The people still film films.
Yes. Yes, they do. Yes. Matter of fact, the one movie I saw a couple weeks ago called Strange Darling, it actually said it was shot on 35 millimeters. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah. Anyone seen Speak No Evil? What's that? I haven't. I don't think. Tell me about it.
No, it was. Yeah, I did talk about it. It's a lot better than what I was expecting. I'm glad I went to go see it in the theater, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's James McAvoy. He's got a wife and a kid. And in the long run, they find ways to invite people over their place, and then I'll leave it at that. And then mischief resumes, and it's a good film. It's a good little film.
Hi, Rich. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, well, we know that, but the thing, like Tom and I were just kind of agreeing on, I guess, is that about there's nothing like a movie theater experience with the right situation. If you get the right audience, I believe that. But some people say I don't care. I'm not going to knock them for it, really. Because whatever works for you. And of course, I know these days home theaters can be pretty amazing, and home TV screens, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the best kind of popcorn, no doubt about it.
I mean, I'm for both. I mean, I'm glad I went to go see this movie in the theater, but I'm also glad I own it on Blu-ray and I'm going to watch it. So I'm for both.
I have to, I'm so behind with it. It's hard to keep up with everything these days. So many things. Like you said, that movie was good. Then the one I was almost going to see the Demi Moore movie, but it wasn't in.
Yeah,
it wasn't
The Substance. Yeah.
I looked the other day. I was there, and I'm like, it's not there, so I didn't see it. But still, this is on the side. I'll just throw this in before we wrap it up at some point. I'm always thinking not with the channel name, but it's been staying, Mr. CineMayo. Yeah. But I'm thinking like this isn't really working out for me. This channel, like even when I put movies, you get 100 people, 150 people, sometimes 200 watch. I don't know what I expect, but I don't know. I'm starting to think, how many people are really going to want to tune in to like a movie? Like, I'm going to review The Fly from 1986. Oh, let's watch it. Let's watch the video. I've even put things up there like new movies. I put like The Flash out there when it was on, and it was a big movie and stuff like that. It's like individual movie reviews. I don't think people will watch. I'm starting to think of maybe doing groups like what I've watched lately, or this week or this month or whatever it is, and just do like 5 or 6 quickies. Like, okay, this is one of this one. Then I saw this one, and do that. The only reason I don't like that idea is because if people want to look up a specific film, like did this guy ever? I just did The Fly, right? So they say, did this guy ever see The Fly '86? I wonder what he thought of that. Well, it's lost somewhere in one of these binge movie things videos where they're not named in the title, so you have no idea what I watched. So I had to find what you want to see. So I'll stick with it a little longer before doing something else. All right, so where we at? Anything else before we go? Yeah, this too. These days, I got to make sure I have my jacket with me or something. Too cold.
Well, you need to take a jacket. You need to turn down your hearing aid, and then you need to bring a couple extra bucks with you.
I'm glad you like movie theaters, Tom, because I hope that's not going to be a dying thing.
Oh, it's heading that way, though. It really, unfortunately, it's heading that way.
Beetle Babe says individual movie reviews are very hit or miss for which ones get views and which ones die on arrival. Yeah, and I know how people feel with my movie channel. I understand how a lot of people feel when they start a channel and like, man, I'm giving it my all. Well, I'm not giving it my all. I haven't done a lot of content. I give that. I'm sorry. I stand correcting myself. But when I do, even it's like I'm used to the other channel where people, I get 1,000 at least views, at least. Now it's like, I'm lucky to hit 100, and I'm like, I don't know. I just felt nobody's watching, but that's still 100 people. Yeah. Film class. Hard Day's Night. I'm surprised they didn't put it in. I'm surprised that wasn't a Fathom Events thing or something like that for this year. I've seen it in the theater plenty of times. A Hard Day's Night, a lot of times.
I've seen it once. I think it was a long time ago, maybe in the 80s.
I want to see Help. I want that to be in a movie theater. I've actually seen every movie in a movie theater, every Beatles movie, including Help. There was one New York theater that played Help with the Hard Day's Night. I think it was a double feature, probably in the early 90s or something. I did see it.
I may have seen Help in a theater once.
And I saw it when it first came out, even if my mother doesn't remember. But I'd be like 3, but I could swear I remember it. Just the snow stuff. That's all I could see. In my mind's eye, I could see the dark theater with a bunch of this of snow. That's all I see. Yeah. Well, thanks, everybody. I think I'm going to wrap it up. We went a little longer than I expected to. So I like doing this. I hope you guys like doing it this time around now. It worked pretty good. We went a little longer, but still was great. Here you go. What are you streaming next, Tom?
That's Tim.
Oh, Tim. I'm sorry. You guys, who's going to change your name?
I don't stream movies. I don't know what I'm watching. I got to finish this War Box, but I don't stream. Then I've got tons of movies.
I think she means the music thing.
Oh, my music. I maybe never. I'm having problems even getting into Google on that other laptop. I'm having many problems. So, and I have to do it on the other laptop.
Oh boy, you had a busy day.
Okay, I'll shut up.
No, I don't mean shut up. I just thought it was good. It was a good opportunity to throw that in there.
So I don't know. One of these days I'll get it out when I'm in a better mood, and I'll try to break into my own account so I can do that. But right now I can't even get into my own account. So, yeah.
And Tom, before we go, you got to continue watching The Odd Couple.
Yeah. I like I said, got the set here. I'll get back to it before the year is over. I promise to get back to it.
I'm curious to know what you thought of some more, and also I still recommend, not to be annoying like that friend in my rant video, Death Trap. Death Trap.
Yes, no, but but seriously, on the side, I do have Death Trap on my Amazon on list to
And
get.
do not look at anything about it. Just go in there. Just say, I'm going to watch this. That's the best way. That's how I stumbled upon it once on a date. We went in. We didn't know. All we knew it said was sneak preview tonight. It said Michael Caine, who I just had liked in Dressed to Kill. Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve. And I said, I like Christopher Reeve. Okay. So we went and we had one of the best movie experiences of my life. Now, I'm not building up, but because I was unexpected. I just didn't know what it was going to be. It could have been anything. Okay, there you go. I like that one. There you go. So, yeah, if you don't know what you're in for, it's fun. All right, everybody. See you next time. Take care.